Remember when I made this video in the early mid-season? Yep, yep, but solo queue to challenger is too hard. We made it on the main account. Look at the history. But something else happened, and I'm gonna run you guys through the problem of solo queue right now. Who remembers this clip? Yep. In today's video, we're gonna rant about the issues of the matchmaking in Season 4. I'm gonna show you another example right here. The amount of LPs is bullshit. I know this guy is a really good pro player, but still, the 5Q abuse is crazy and Riot needs to fix it for high elo and the leaderboard. Hey, what's up guys, Darkbreaker here, and in today's video let's talk about the matchmaking and why the matchmaking right now in Season 4 is problematic, and maybe I'm gonna talk about some other issues right now in the end. Maybe report system, AFK punishment, honor system, what else do we need? Like stuff like that. Maybe I'm gonna talk a little bit about that in the end, but the main focus of the video will be about the matchmaking. What's the issue right now, what I think should be added, or what they should do in the next patch to improve the matchmaking, to improve the quality of the game, and so that more people have more fun. So I've posted a tweet longer explaining my thoughts about the matchmaking, how I'm feeling about it, whether or not I think it's still fun, and what are the fundamental issues, and we are gonna break that one down. I'm gonna show you the tweet longer, I guess. But hey, let me tell you something funny. I tried to post this on Reddit as well, and I think it would have been really nice so more people can see it, and maybe yeah, we can rally up the community. Maybe we can discuss solutions. Like I was asking for feedback and solutions, so I was like, hey, maybe we can talk about it, raise awareness about it. And I also posted on YouTube something, so I will check out the comments, and maybe you can read out some comments about solutions and feedback about the tweet long I made. But yeah, anyways, let's get started. Let me check the tweet longer so we can see the main issues. Okay, the first point I mentioned in the beginning is that the quality of the game right now in Season 4 is pretty low. At least in my opinion, compared to any other seasons. The skill level is lower than before. Maybe it's just bias, maybe this is just objectively not true, but I think a lot of pro players and a lot of people that played in Season 0, Season 1 or Season 2 will agree with me that some of the gameplay level is lower. People tend to not listen at all. They don't have map awareness, they don't have macro, they never listen to anything. They just do their own thing, playing super egoistical. And I think even in the early season it wasn't as bad as right now. Yeah, because I pushed 2 accounts to Challenger. One account when I was rank 1 in the early season, I was playing duo queue. And then I decided, okay, our main account we can find games again. Because they changed the matchmaking. And I'm gonna explain this one more in depth, but let's focus on the point that I played the main account solo queue only to Challenger, pretty much solo queue only, especially anything after starting Master or starting Diamond 1 was 100% solo queue. I can show you the history. I have made a video about it. Just to say, I've made it to Challenger solo queue in the early mid-season. But I think it's definitely something that is very hard to obtain right now in solo queue in the end season. Just because of the fact, number one, the players you have right now are worse than the early and mid-season players, because they are now you can just spam the game and you will get to the LP you desire. regardless of how well you play, just because you spam the game. So a lot of people that just spam the game will rise through the ranks. And I've seen on Reddit multiple videos where people are showing or proving the fact that there are some accounts that go 0-20 every single game and they reach diamond with a 40 to 50% win rate. Like, winners and losers coexist. People might think that's bullshit, but the game tries the best to give you or try to make you 50% win rate, because that's balanced in the opinion. If no matter how low your win rate is or no matter how high your win rate is, the game tries the best to match you with people, so you will end up having 50% win rate, and that's the whole goal. So that's why I think, solo queue to challenger, the cap is way too high right now. It is at 700 LP in my server. I know in other servers it's server, I think it's not that high. It's like 350 or 400, but the reason is because the player base is much bigger and you have more spots. And in Europe you only have 150 spots. And other, like the LP inflation, I will talk about that later on, but definitely the cap is too high because people are just spamming 5Q, and the LP inflation is also crazy. And the LP gains are also not consistent. Like, it does make sense. It totally doesn't make sense. Like, on one hand, it is apparently performance based, right? It is performance based. And the more often you beat good people or you win against people with high MMR, the more likely it is for you to get better MMR. But at the same time, right now the matchmaking, they only give me diamonds and emeralds. So how am I supposed to improve my MMR when I only get into lobbies that are not good? Or I think they are not high MMR, because my main account used to be one of the highest MMR accounts. Like, it has 3,100. I talked with a dev and he gave me the number, and he said it's one of the highest. And I think the only other highest number I've heard so far was 3,200. That was Snitch. And even Doom, for example. Doom has 2,900, which is one of the highest, and he gets plus 20. He gets plus 20 at 500 LP. You could argue, okay, his performance is much better than you. He has better KDA, he has better stats, etc. So that therefore they give him better LP. But how did I have plus 14? How did I have plus 14 while not finding games? I was not finding any games in Season 3, pretty much. So I couldn't even play on that account, on my main account. So I had to make smurfs, and once the smurf is too high, I don't find games. And that's one of the reasons I had 4 accounts in Challenger in Season 2, for example. Because I just couldn't find games, and it's better to just go for next account, because the queue time was too high. But now the whole point about why I'm telling you guys about this is, how does it make sense that his LP gains were plus 20 at 500 LP while he still found games, and apparently, according to the dev, he had lower MMR? It contradicts itself. It just contradicts itself. And then now in this season, he still has plus 20 to 500 LP. And at 500 LP, I'm at plus 11, plus 10, plus 11. Which is funny, because in this season, I actually only played solo queue, and my KDA or my stats are really, really good, because I have 40% MVP rate in 100 games, made it to Challenger solo queue, but apparently my MMR is not good enough because I'm playing solo queue, and I'm matching people that are not high MMR. But how do you improve your MMR then? And if I'm struggling with it, I hear you guys. There are so many people of you guys that are wondering, why am I plus 10 in Diamond? Why do I get plus 10 in Master Elo? Why do I get plus 10 in Grandmaster Elo? By the definition of the dev, it is because you don't perform well enough. Stat-wise, whatever it is. My theory is they check your MVP rate, they check your KDA, your damage done. They check every single stat that they show in the stat board. because this makes sense from one person, random, that even if he starts a new account, his MMR gains or his LP gains are pretty quickly really high, and he has really insane stats. So maybe that's an argument. But at the same time, there are so many other people that I know that have really good gains, even though they have low MMR. Like before they had low MMR, they were always finding. Like, how do you permanently find with plus 20 gains while other people can't even find a game? And they have plus 14 gains in Challenger. That's just an example. I'm just talking about this. I think that's definitely an issue. The LP gains are not consistent. The system doesn't make sense. The explanation don't make sense in my opinion. I've talked with Josh Menke, the leading matchmaking dev, so much. Since August I started talking to him, and I tried to discuss with him why it doesn't make sense or how it's so inconsistent, because it's super inconsistent. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, how can I perform so well, make it to Challenger solo queue, have good stats, and my LP gains are bad? And when my LP gains are supposed to be really good, they were not good. They were still really good. Plus 14 was really good back then. But it was not plus 20. And I was also struggling with queue time. But, I mean, that's not the main issue we have right now. But that's something I want to talk about. And I feel like this might affect some people, especially the people that are wondering about the diamond LP gains or any other LP gains that they're having. The explanation is you don't play good enough. The explanation is you don't play good enough. And another thing is, if you play solo queue, you will find yourself often, like let's say you're Grandmaster or you're Challenger, you will find yourself so often in lobbies that are only Diamond and Emerald. That means their MMR is low. Their MMR is just low. Like, if they would show the MMR every single game, you could see the discrepancy between the highest MMR person and the lowest MMR person. And I bet you they will never show it, because it shows how bullshit the system is. It will show it. Like, let's say we know the MMR system used to be, if you're Challenger, you're like 2,600 or 2,500. GMs are like 2,200 or something, etc. That's how the MMR system works before the change they did in Season 4. Because some people of you might not be aware of it. Maybe I'm going to show some screenshot. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to show, or if it's easy for you to understand. But I'm just giving you number examples so you guys can understand. At what point are you considered Challenger? At what point are you considered Grandmaster? So if a Grandmaster is like 2,200, let's say a Diamond is 2,000 or lower, and I was 3,100. So how does it make sense exactly that someone who is 3,100 gets matched with 4 other people below 2,000 LP MMR? Doesn't make sense, right? And now the funny part is they changed the MMR that the absolute number or the absolute difference between a Challenger and a Grandmaster is much lower, so you can easily find games. Like, okay, let me check before I'm talking bullshit. I think the number is like, instead of 3,000, it's like 40. So the absolute number is much lower, and therefore so many people can find games now, and they're able to find 5Q consistently, and they end up matching 5Q Challenger versus 5Q Diamonds. I think right now the issue isn't that insane like in the early mid-season, because usually if you have really high MMR, you probably will match against Grandmasters or Challengers in 5Q, but that was a huge issue in the early and mid-season. And right now, even in the night, like if you're playing 5Q in the night, you will consistently get as a Challenger 5Q against Diamonds. Okay, let me check the number. Let me check the number before I'm talking shit. Dude, I talk so much with them about. I also told him the 5Q, they need to remove it. They need to remove 5Q. He also asked me yesterday about my opinion, what needs to be done. Let me find the number exactly. Dude, okay, I have to scroll so much. Bop, 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 bop. 6. When was season reset? Oh, here. Low challenger is like 38.5. The raw numbers would be meaningless, but they still represent the same percentage of players, top X%, etc. There's the usual daily calibration where it checks who should be in Grandmaster or Challenger, as well as updates LP gains based on where everyone's MMR is. That's probably what it is. Okay, that's just about the early season why it was not consistent. Okay, I think we covered that point. Oh yeah, let's talk about the solo queue experience. It is very frustrating if you play solo queue, you're Grandmaster, you're Challenger, and you get matched with 4 diamonds or 4 emeralds. It just doesn't make sense. And I think a lot of people also have this issue when they're emerald and they get 4 gold player, 4 silver players or something. Like the discrepancy is just fucking crazy. Like, the deviation between the ranks is too big, and they need to fix that. I'm just talking about all the issues first, and then I'm gonna bring out the solutions or my ideas. But yeah, solo queue is very frustrating, because it's either number 1, you need to 1 versus 9 because you have 4 people that are feeding. You can't do this every time. The better you are compared to the rank average, the more likely you can do this. Because some people are wondering, how can I get out of diamond? How can I get out of emerald? You just need to be much, much better than the rank you're playing in, and then you can 1 vs 9. That's possible. I did it on the mid account as well. I played completely solo queue from emerald to Grandmaster solo queue. But Challenger's too hard. Honestly, you need to spam too many games. I can't reach 700 LP. I need to spam like an idiot, and my LP gains are not good enough. The moment I hit like 500 or something, I get plus 10, minus 20. If you play solo queue only, it's too hard, honestly. If you have good gains, like some people have plus 20 gains, I think yes, you can do it solo queue. But if you have bad gains, I don't think it's possible unless you spam 500 games, you spam 1000 games, and you have 1 lucky win streak, then maybe you can do it. But getting it done consistently is very hard. I mean, it's obviously possible, but no one does this. No one in Challenger plays solo queue only right now. No one. Everyone is 5Q or trio queue. Majority, almost the majority. Some people play duo queue, sure. But almost no one that is in Challenger right now played only solo queue. That's bullshit. No one does that. No one. You see so many people stream solo queue, and then off stream they play duo or 5Q. So they make up for the LPs. But yeah, you can't keep it up alone, because plus 10, minus 20. How are you supposed to get to Challenger with those gains? I mean, the thing is, in the other seasons it was more possible because the number was lower. The number was like, hey, you need 200 or 300. Then maybe with plus 10 you can do it, just because you have a good win streak. But 700! 700 is crazy. You know, 700 LP was the amount of LP you would have when you were rank 1 in any other seasons. 400 LP was top 15 in season 1, season 2. And even in season 3, 400 LP was top 150. But now 700 is top 150. Their LP inflation because of 5Q is ridiculous. And the LP gains are also bullshit. Don't ask me how they're doing it, but it's complete bullshit. But yeah, I was talking about the 1 vs 9 factor. Then you have the other percentage where you just auto lose. You can play a perfect game, 10-0 perfect game. You do 0 mistakes, but your teammates are too bad. And this is the frustrating part about the game. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. You guys, if you are hard stuck in Emerald or Diamond, you probably don't play a perfect game. Let's be honest with yourself. You're probably doing a lot of mistakes that you could have done better, and boom, you get out of diamond. I mean, it's not that boom boom easy, but let's assume you play every game really, really well, exceptionally well. You play like a challenger. Trust me, you would get out of diamond pretty quickly, even with plus 10 gains. But that's another topic. But I'm talking about from a challenger perspective. If you are already playing top 1% of the player base, how can you improve enough that you can carry games? Like, some games are not winnable when you have bot lane 010, like ADC 010, support 010, jungle 010. Sometimes you have those type of games. That's not winnable, even if you're the best player in the world. Some games you can't win because the teammates are not good enough. But I'm talking about the games that are winnable. Some games you have some feeders, but it's still winnable because you can hyper carry, you can impact the map enough. There's, like, I think the rule was always 40-40-20. 40% of the games you can win, 40% of the 40% of the games you're just losing no matter what, and 20% of the games you can impact. And the number or the percent of the games you can impact is higher the better you are compared to your lobby. So let's say you're a challenger level player in a gold lobby or in an emerald lobby. You probably can make this percentage instead of 20%, 90%. Some people will say that's bullshit, but that's a fact. That's just a fact. Some games are definitely like the skill gap. Some people don't realize the skill gap when you're so much better than your lobby that you can just carry games. It's like if you're a diamond player, you play against bronze players. You probably can carry those games as well, 1 vs 9, even if you're 3 people that are feeding. But the higher the rank you go, the less likely you have the 1 vs 9 factor, or the less likely or the lower the percentage of your 1 vs 9 games is gonna become. So then it becomes really frustrating because you can play better, and even if you play super well, you still end up losing, and the percentage of games you thought you could carry just becomes lower. And then when you perform so well every single time, or pretty consistently, you have good KDA, and I've showed it in the last video where I was like, I showed my history. You saw how many games I performed really well, going 10-2 or something, or 15-2, or I don't know what number, and I just end up losing these games. I definitely have to say, I probably could have done better in a lot of those games. Obviously, it's rare for you to have a pixel perfect game. It's very rare for you guys, but if you perform this well already, you should probably get a win or LP performance based gains or losses. So the better you perform, the more LP you get. The worse you perform, the less LP you get. How would they determine this? This is a solution, by the way, but since I'm talking about this, let's bring it up. LP performance based gains and losses is a solution I thought of, or I think is pretty good. Some people might argue, then you are promoting people that will just play super selfish and KDA style. But there are other factors that the game can factor in on your performance. Gold per minute, teamfight participation rate, turret damage rate, turret damage done, damage dealt, damage tanked. Like all the stats you see in your rank profile, I think those are great indicators on how well you perform, and they already have the S rating system. So if you have SVP and you have S rating and you lose, you should lose less, because it makes it more fair to perform every single game well. Like, how is it fair that someone that goes 0-10 loses the same amount as someone who goes 10-0 and still end up losing the game? Alright? That's one suggestion. And obviously, there will be some abuse maybe, but they can factor in so many indicators to show that you performed well and didn't play too selfish. But it's better to have someone that plays selfish and doesn't feed than having someone that feeds and doesn't get punished. and loses the same amount of LP that you're losing. Or they're getting the same amount of LP you are getting, even though they're performing like shit. Because there are people that go 0-10 and they get to diamond. Like, they are just trolling on purpose and they make it. Just because of the winners and losers queue. And the way the matchmaking is getting balanced. Because the matchmaking sees, okay, this guy plays like shit every single game. Let's give him good teammates. That's literally how the matchmaking works. Okay, let's see what I wrote. Majority of high elo players are playing 3Q or 5Q, which in returns makes the solo queue experience even worse, because these players won't be in the matchmaking pool anymore. Every single like, you can't match people as a solo queue player in 5Q. So all those high elo players that go 5Q, you will never match them again, because they play 5Q and you're playing solo queue. Therefore, that's a reason why you get so many diamond and emeralds right now. That's one of those reasons why you are getting so many diamonds and emeralds consistently now, and much more rarely grandmasters, masters or challengers, just because majority of them are all 5Q spammers. Or sometimes trio queue you won't match them because they're playing trio and you end up in a full solo queue lobby. But there are some cases I had. I have a trio queue diamond, I'm the only challenger, and I get a challenger trio queue. That's also complete bullshit, by the way. It definitely makes the competitiveness of ranking really, really bad. Okay, let's talk about solutions and suggestions. Number 1 solution: remove 5Q in Master Elo. Yes. Okay, let's read it. Let's just read it out. Yes, I know they want Wildrift to be a game to play casually with friends, because it's a mobile game. But do they realize that the high elo player base is not that big of a percentage that making it solo queue or duo queue only, like duo queue, I think solo and duo queue is okay. Some people might argue that duo queue is also broken. It kind of is. Duo bot lane, duo mid jungle or duo top jungle is kind of broken, definitely. But I would prefer solo duo compared to trio queue or 5Q. So in the end, the solution is remove 5Q in Master Plus or just solo queue only in Master Plus. It wouldn't affect the player base because Master is like 1% of the player base, or even less than 1% of the player base. And if you do Diamond 1, it might be 2% of the total player base. So how would that affect the casual player base? Casual players, they have Aram, they have standard games, they have URF. Nice. And even if they want to play ranked casually with friends, they can still do it. If you are bronze, silver, gold, emerald, platinum, you can still do it. Or even diamond if you want to, but just make the competitiveness and the integrity of ranked solo queue much more fair, much more balanced. It didn't work out, dynamic queue didn't work out in LoL PC, and the player base that is so much bigger. How do you think it's gonna work out in wildrift? The LP inflation because of 5Q. 3k LP Latin, 4k LP C, 2k LP in Europe. How is that even remotely fair to any solo queue player? You could argue, yeah, you can go 5Q, but at the same time, not everyone can spam 5Q every single day. Like, sometimes you just want to go quickly into a solo queue match, and for me, also it is solo queue or duo queue gameplay, or even trio queue gameplay. It's much better than 5Q gameplay, because 5Q gameplay is pretty boring for a viewer, so that's why I prefer to go solo queue or duo queue, just because the games are much more interesting. And trust me, those 5Q challenger players, they are piss stomping every diamond for free. Like, that's why they have like 20, 30, 40, 50 win streak in challenger elo, which doesn't make sense. I know Joshua Menke, he said to me, what about we lower the LP amount that 5Q players get? Like +5 instead. It doesn't matter because they are spamming from 1k LP to 4k LP with plus 10 gains. They all pretty much have plus 10 gains. What else did I write down? They should remove MMR based matchmaking. It's frustrating, it's bullshit, especially since it's pretty much average lobby MMR. It's not like the average MMR is even. Like, let's say you are a full Grandmaster lobby and everyone is 2200 MMR. That's not the case. I already gave you the example that they put people that have, for example, 2500, 3000 MMR because they're Challenger or Grandmaster, into a lobby with 4 people that are Diamond or Emerald, so they are pretty much below 2000. So they take the average MMR lobby instead of the average of each player. Do you guys understand? So let's say you have someone who is 2000, 2000, 2000, 2000, and 3000. So you have 11k. So that's the average. 11k MMR is the average lobby. And then they will put anything they want on the other side, which could be 2500, 2500, 2500, and then I don't know, someone 2k, 2k. Oh no, 2k and 1500, for example, like that. So it's just average MMR for the lobby instead of looking at it per player. Because if they actually would show the MMR total, or they show the MMR of every single player and make it visible, you guys would be for a surprise. Because then you would see, how the fuck am I 3000 MMR and I get people that are 1800 or something? And then you realize, ah shit, MMR based matchmaking is pure bullshit right now. Because it honestly is. I think if rioters are watching this, I'm sorry for saying the word bullshit, but I just feel like it's really, really frustrating for so many seasons right now, and the attempts they're trying to make is just not working. I don't know what to say. MMR based matchmaking search is too wide. The deviation between the highest and the lowest MMR player in each lobby is too high. It's just too big. And what else they should... I don't know if it's gonna work or it's gonna help that much, because they still have the MMR based matchmaking. So you would probably still end up getting platinum sometimes. I'm getting platinum sometimes. And I'm wondering, how the fuck do I get platinums as a Grandmaster Challenger player or Grandmaster Challenger MMR player? They should add promotions. I know a lot of people will not like this fact or these suggestions, because promotions are a pain in the ass. I agree, promotions can be super frustrating, but I think it would improve the game quality that you guys will have each game. You will get matched less with people that don't deserve their rank. Like, the amount of people that make it to Diamond or the amount of people that make it to Master would be lower, and the likelihood of you matching with people that don't deserve the rank would be lower. That's my idea. Maybe it's not correct, because you have MMR based matchmaking anyways, and you will end up still getting the platinum just because they want to, or they wouldn't find another person to make the lobby complete. And then the search engine is like, okay, maybe let's find someone in platinum, since we don't find any other emerald or diamond players anymore. Let's just put him into the lobby and then they can find a game at least. That's the idea. That's the way they're like, okay, at least now you can find a game, but we're giving you a platinum player, or we're giving you a gold player so you can find a game. That's the idea behind it. They made the search engine too wide that you will find games and the queue time is lower, but at the same time the quality of games is just so bad because of that. Jeez, I just had a point, but I forgot it. I had a really good point that I forgot. What was the point again? I had a really, really good point right in my head right now that I wanted to talk about. Another point. Oh! Okay. What my suggestion is, just do ranked-based matchmaking. Rank-based matchmaking with a deviation of 1 or 2 ranks. So challengers can only match with grandmasters or masters. Grandmasters can only match with challengers and master players. Master players can only match with grandmasters and diamonds. Not necessarily like this, but just an idea. So instead of having a challenger that matches with a platinum, where you have from challenger to grandmaster 1, master 2, diamond 3, and then platinum 4. That's a 4 rank difference. That's too huge. Or you're a diamond player and you're getting a gold player. That's such a huge difference. Just do 1 or 2 ranks maximum. That's my idea. So maybe a master player can match with diamonds, grandmasters. I don't know how they would do it exactly. Maybe 2 ranks up and down. I don't know if 2 ranks is too much though. Maybe just 1 rank. But obviously this would make the queue time really bad. I know. Honestly, it you know what's funny? It wouldn't probably make the queue time so much longer. Because people in 5Q are finding. 5Q challengers find instantly. And they can find other 5Q challengers. And I played a few games 5Q with other challengers. I think like 10 games total. And we would, every single time, we would find people within 1 or 3 minutes. And it would be only grandmasters and challengers. So clearly it's possible to find 5 other grandmasters or challengers and match them together. Because beforehand I was like, okay, maybe there are not enough grandmasters or challengers. So that's why they're giving you diamond or emerald so you can find. That's not the case. After seeing how quick the 5Q matchmaking is, that's not the case. 5Q matchmaking is, you can find much quicker than solo queue. You can be 5 challengers against other 5 challengers, 1 minute queue time. 5 challengers against 5 grandmasters, 1 minute queue time. 5 challengers against 5 diamonds, 1 minute queue time. So how is it that if you play solo queue, you are stuck in queue simulator for 20 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. In season 2 I was stuck like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? I don't think so. But how does it work then? How does it work? I don't get it. I don't get it. I think they should just implement rank-based matchmaking, remove MMR system. It's bullshit. I don't know if they should remove LP system. If they want to keep LP system, they definitely need to stick to LP, performance-based LP gains and losses. Or they just remove LP completely. ELO system. Number 1 idea, ELO system. I know in ELO system or star system, or what do you have in the other ranks? Platinum, emerald. You have like these emblems. I don't know. If they want to keep LP gains performance based, and otherwise they need to think about something else. Star system is working. Star system is working pretty well in other mobile games. Some people will say, Darkbreaker, this is wildrift, it's LOL PC. Why do you come up with other mobile games? Yeah, because clearly it's working and they are more popular. That's the funny part. Clearly, those systems are working and these games are more popular than wildrift. I wonder why. I guess because ranking is not as frustrating. One reason, but probably because of late joining to the market too late and marketing being non-existent. But hey, don't ask me, ask Riot. And otherwise, yeah, I think that covers everything. I talked about everything I wanted to rant about. Some people say, oh, Darkbreaker, you're crying too much. I am. I'm fucking sick of solo queue. I'm fucking sick of the ranked. I'm sick of matchmaking. Like the issue was before, I was never finding games. I was never finding games in any other, like Season 2, Season 3. The queue times were horrible. Either not finding or queue time being terrible. But the game quality was so much better at least. The ranked was not inflated. You didn't need to spam 40 games per day to be challenger. Or you didn't need to have abused 5Q every single day to be a challenger. You could just play your few games. If you perform well, you have a high win rate. I have a 70%. I had a 70% win rate solo queue in 500 LP, and they give me +10. And I'm wondering, how did I go from one of the highest MMR persons in the game, not being able to find games, to okay, welcome to losers queue, welcome to your shit LP gains. Yeah, I'm ranting. I know I'm ranting, but I feel like majority of the community feels the same. Majority of the people. If you're a 5K abuser, it doesn't matter for them. They're just enjoying their free LP. They're at 4K LP, they're chilling their life. But yeah, if you just want to play solo queue for fun a bit, like a few games per day, it is not fun. It is just not fun. But yeah, I think I've covered everything. If you guys have any other suggestions, solutions, then write it down below. But, wait. I just remembered other issues we can talk about. Report system is non-existent and shit. They need to make the punishments harder and the report system needs to be better. They should add remake when people are AFK at the start of the game. They should add honor system. In China they already have the honor system, but not in the global version. Why are you doing us so dirty? I know China is the money maker, the cash cow. That's how people call it in marketing. China is the cash cow. That's why they're only focusing on China, because China is making all the money, basically. So all the attention is like, at least China is happy. If China is happy, we are like this, but who cares about any other server? Who cares about marketing in any other server? Who cares about making the game the best possible mobile game in the world? Who cares about making the game better than Mobile Legends, Arena of Valor, or any other MOBA? Shouldn't League of Legends and Wildrift be the best game, the most popular game, shitting on every other game? They have the name brand. They have one of the biggest gaming names, brands, or whatever you want to call it, and they are just sitting on the name instead of making the game insanely well, that everyone loves it, that everyone wants to spam it, and the marketing is non-existent. They're just relying on the name and they do nothing else. I mean, I'm just saying it like this, but this is how it feels, because people are not communicating well enough to say, okay, we have these and these plans, we're doing this and this soon, this is what we want to do within the next year, or those are our goals for 2022, those are our goals for the next year, etc. They're not communicating well enough, and that's one of the biggest issue. The devs need to communicate better. I know devs like Ben, they're trying their best. I know it's not easy to please everyone. There are a lot of people that are gonna hate you, there are a lot of people that are gonna flame you, complain, etc., not giving good ideas, solutions, and they're just nitpicking. But clearly there is an issue about the matchmaking and about other game issues that needs to be addressed, or it just needs to be addressed. They need to talk about it. They need to say, we are working on it within this year. They should give a time frame. They can say, okay, maybe in this patch it will come out. They can say, this year, this will come out. I know for game designer or game planner, it's maybe not the best idea, but they can just give some vague informations, but they're giving zero informations. Zero. That's my opinion. What else do they need to add? Make 120 FPS not lag, but that's whatever. Oh, look at the win streak. They had such a good stream today. Wow. Yeah, I think that covered most stuff. Leave down your feedback, your solutions, other ideas in the comments. Feel free to discuss. Keep it civil. Don't flame devs. don't flame... No, please don't flame me. Don't flame people that play 5Q, 3Q. I know people like to hate it because it's frustrating that people have that advantage, but honestly, I don't blame them because solo queue is not fun. Playing duo queue, trio or 5Q is much more fun and much more relaxing. Some people don't want the competitiveness, some people want to chill with their friends. Let them be. Don't flame them. Yeah, don't be toxic, guys. Like, my diamond and emerald players, they are toxic, they don't listen, they are selfish, they are feeders, they think they are the best people in the world, but they're fucking trash. I'm allowed to flame them, but don't flame, try to not flame, but I'm just saying they're trash, fuck them. But yeah, focus on working on yourself. Usually I would say try to not blame other people, try to perform as well as possible. I know this, and I'm performing so well. Obviously sometimes I'm making mistakes, I'm really aware of that. So I will try to not make them again and try to have a perfect game, but you can't have every single game a perfect game. And even if you play an almost flawless game, you should be winning. I mean, sometimes you can, but yeah, at least give me LP based, performance based LP gains or something. So it feels not as frustrating if you know, okay, that guy is losing -20 for going 0-10, and I'm only losing -10 because I'm 10-0 SVP. And I played so fucking perfect, and I don't deserve the -20. Because in high elo, if I'm above 500 LP, I'm getting -20. How frustrating is it when you perform like a Giga Chat in 10 games and you're losing -20, -20, -20? You can't stay sane and not toxic when you have this situation. The game doesn't reward you for playing well, and you don't get punished for being toxic. Figure yourself out why so many people are toxic. But yeah, did I mention honor system? Honor system needs to be added. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think I talked for 1 hour or something. I don't know how long I talked. Probably 1 hour. But yeah, bye bye.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.